Welcome to the historic 30th anniversary of the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future and the 25th anniversary of the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Illustrators of the Future. For our thousands of internet viewers worldwide, we're conducting ceremonies in the historic Ebell Theater in Los Angeles, California. We've gathered to acknowledge this year's outstanding artists, both writers and illustrators, who come to us literally from around the world and present their awards for outstanding achievements in the arts.
The time is now to let it out and be the future. You never know where you will go on this adventure. Who can we be? What will we see if we're together? Journey through this fantasy. Follow me, I'll take you there.
The story started to come alive. The words are building as the colors rise. Anything can happen in between the lines. A universe that lives in you and I. I'll take you there where dreams are made. It's a far off place when you're living off the page.
The words you see, they carry me where the colors meet, 'cause we're living off the page.
I'll take you there where dreams are made. It's a far off place when you're living off the page. The words you see, they carry me where the colors meet, 'cause we're living off the page. As you travel through space and time, you'll find the dreamer living deep inside. It's the magic we create from our minds, the kind of world you find that's between the lines.
More than pretty words or a painted picture, you've got the power to imagine and inspire anything we put our minds to. We can make it all come true.
I'll take you there where dreams are made. It's a far off place when you're living off the page.
The words you see, they carry me where the colors meet, 'cause we're living off the page.
I'll take you there where dreams
It has been my experience that almost everyone, at one period or another of his life, has harbored a desire to write. L. Ron Hubbard spoke those words in 1940 on radio station KGBU in Ketchikan, Alaska, as he initiated an early version of today's Writers and Illustrators of the Future contest. Anyone but professional writers may participate was the cardinal rule. More than 4 decades later, recognizing the increasingly difficult path between first manuscript and published work, Mr. Hubbard created the Writers of the Future contest, followed by the companion Illustrators of the Future contest. Both have since grown into the most prestigious contests of their kind, based on merit alone. Each year holds its own magic, its own wonder, its own discoveries. Beginning in 1984, renowned author and critic Algis Budrys led the original Writers of the Future contest, along with an all-star cast of best-selling authors to act as judges. Such masters as Dr. Gregory Benford, Robert Silverberg, Theodore Sturgeon, Jack Williamson, and Roger Zelazny. In 1985, the first awards ceremony took place at Chasen's Restaurant in Beverly Hills for new and now successful authors such as Leonard Carpenter, Karen Joy Fowler, Nina Karicki Hoffman, Dean Wesley Smith, and David Zindel. The second year, the L. Ron Hubbard Gold Award made its seminal appearance in recognition of the year's most exceptional story. Robert Reed received the honor first. He has gone on to capture a Hugo Award, along with the publication of a dozen novels and many short stories. In 1987, the awards ceremony was held at the top of the World Trade Center, where it attracted such illustrious guests as author Isaac Asimov and actor Mark Hamill. Orson Scott Card and Tim Powers helped teach the literary boot camp that year. Dave Wolverton, also known under the pen name David Farland, won the Gold Award and has since published more than 50 novels. In 1988, Nancy Farmer claimed the Gold Award. She went on to receive 8 more astounding literary awards for her young adult and children's books, including the National Book Award. Fellow winner Jo Beverly became a best-selling romance author, with more than 40 titles in her career, and was lauded by Publishers Weekly as today's most skillful writer of intelligent historical romance. Also in that year, the Illustrators of the Future contest began, presided over by another set of highly esteemed artists, all led by Frank Kelly Freas. The 5th year, Katie Wentworth took the stage among the writer winners. Her accolades now include 4 Nebula nominations, and she served as the Writers' Contest coordinating judge and the editor for the annual anthology. In 1990, artist Derek Hegstead was announced as the first Illustrators of the Future Grand Prize winner and instantly launched his own career. The next year, Ukrainian Sergei Poryarkov won the Illustrator Grand Prize and has since exhibited his work in numerous galleries around the world. He currently serves as a judge for the contest. 1992 saw winners tour the National Archives and the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum, providing fodder for future stories. Published finalist Nick DiCario went on to be nominated for the Hugo and World Fantasy Awards, and received 2 nominations for the John W. Campbell Memorial Award. The Illustrators Contest discovered extraordinary artists Omar Ryan and Sean Tan, both of whom have gone on to create award-winning children's books, with Sean also earning an Academy Award. In 1993, outstanding writers such as Eric Flint, Sean Williams, and Elizabeth Wein received well-earned awards, and now all 3 are New York Times best-selling authors. 1994 marked 10 successful years of Writers of the Future. Dan Duncan, Illustrator winner of the following year, is now best known for his work on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and as a storyboard artist for Marvel Animation. Winner from 1996, Kenneth Scott, has gone on to work as an art director on such video games as Halo. In 1997, the awards ceremony included a trip to Cape Canaveral, where judges and artists watched the Space Shuttle Atlantis blast off. Frank Frazetta received the L. Ron Hubbard Lifetime Achievement Award for outstanding contributions to the arts. 1998 Illustrator winner Rob Hassan's award-winning artwork has been recognized internationally. Writer Scott Nicholson received the Gold Award in 1999. He has since penned 20 thrillers, 60 short stories, 4 comic series, and 6 screenplays. At the turn of the millennium, the best of Writers of the Future was selected from 15 years of exceptional stories and was released as an anthology to the cheers of authors and judges. Illustrator winner Dwayne Harris has worked on a variety of projects, including Game of Thrones and Warhammer. At the 2001 awards, Algis Budrys received a well-deserved Lifetime Achievement Award for outstanding contributions to the arts. Writer-winner Tim Myers has since become a best-selling children's fiction author. The following year, Lord of the Rings actor Sean Astin helped present the awards, and writer Dylan Otto Kreider won the Prize Gold Award. 2002 was also marked by future megastars Nnedi Okorafor, who would win the World Fantasy Award, and Patrick Rothfuss, whose first and second novels hit the New York Times bestseller list. Illustrator winner Brian Hales has likewise won numerous awards for his art. 2003's winning author Stephen Saville went on to write Shadow of the Jaguar, a #1 bestseller in the UK, and has sold over 500,000 books worldwide. Author Jay Lake launched a stunning career, and Jeffrey Gerard carved a name for himself in young adult fiction. Artist winner Laura Deal's work has since appeared on numerous book covers, in magazines, and has been juried into Spectrum, New Master of Fantasy, and nominated for a Chesley. 2005 winner Ken Scholes created the internationally acclaimed series The Psalms of Isaac. Eric James Stone quickly became noted for his outstanding short fiction, soon winning the Nebula. In 2006, Diana Rowland was discovered, and she's since had 10 published novels. So it goes, year after year. 3 decades for the Writer Contest, and a quarter of a century for the Illustrator Contest, garnering critical acclaim such as Hot New Talent, a first-rate collection of stories and illustrations, always a glimpse of tomorrow's stars. All told, our 286 past Illustrator winners have produced tens of thousands of illustrations, comic books, art books, children's books, and album covers. Not to mention the video games, commercials, TV series, live action, and animated films graced with their work, and the millions of art prints they have in circulation. Our 426 writer winners have published nearly 1,000 novels and over 4,000 short stories. They have produced 30 New York Times bestsellers, and their works have sold over 52 million copies. Finally, our illustrator and writer winners have gone on to take every significant award in the science fiction and fantasy universe: the Hugo, Nebula, World Fantasy, National Book Award, Philip K. Dick, Astrid Lindgren Memorial Award, Emmy, and even the Oscar grace our roster of winners. In the foreword to the first anthology, Mr. Hubbard wrote, "A culture is as rich and as capable of surviving as it has imaginative artists. The artist is looked upon to start things. The artist injects the spirit of life into a culture." That vision has been and is being fulfilled into the future.
Please welcome our Mistress of Ceremonies, Executive Director of Author Services, the literary agency of L. Ron Hubbard, Ms. Gunhild Jacobs.
Thank you very much. On behalf of everyone at Author Services and Galaxy Press, the publisher of the Writers of the Future anthology, let me welcome each and every one of you as we celebrate 30 years of discovering and nurturing new creative talent. I want to extend a special acknowledgement to the anchor and backbone of these contests, our renowned and legendary company of judges. Not only do they devote their time and talents to helping discover the winners, they also help educate them, imparting their hard-won experience and expertise. To our judges, it is an honor to have you here. The stunning array of past and present judges make the contest what they are today. The Writers of the Future judges are Kevin J. Anderson, Dr. Doug Beeson, Dr. Gregory Benford, Algis Budrys, Orson Scott Card, Hal Clement, Eric Flint, Brian Herbert, Frank Herbert, Nina Kiriki-Hoffman, Dr. Yodi Kondo, Anne McCaffrey, Todd McCaffrey, Rebecca Mesta, C.L. Moore, Larry Niven, Andrew Norton, Frederick Pohl, Dr. Jerry Purnell, Tim Powers, Mike Resnick, Christine Catherine Rush, Robert J. Sawyer, Charles Sheffield, Robert Silverberg, Dean Wesley Smith, Theodore Sturgeon, K.D. Wentworth, Sean Williams, Jack Williamson, Dave Wolverton, and Roger Selastny. And the judges for the Illustrators of the Future contest are Ed Cartier, Robert Castillo, Vincent D. Fate, Diane and Leo Dillon, Dave Dorman, Bob Eggleton, Will Eisner, Frank Frazetta, Frank Kelly Fries, Laura Fries Baraja, Stephen Hickman, Jack Kirby, Paul Lear, Ron Lindan, Val Lakey Lindan, Stefan Martiniere, Gary Meyer, Judith Miller, Mubius, Cliff Nielsen, Sergei Poryakov, Sean Tan, H.R. Van Dongen, and Stephen Ewell. Now, will those judges who are with us tonight please stand up and be acknowledged? I would also like to acknowledge several distinguished guests who are joining us as award presenters. Please hold your applause until all are announced. Accomplished television actress Jennifer Aspen, the voice of Bart Simpson, Nancy Cartwright, Finnish actress and model Anna Esteden, writer, magazine publisher, director, and producer Kerry O'Quinn, actor Kylan Rambo, appearing in the recent Ender's Game film, author and founder of the Challenger Learning Centers, Dr. June Scobie-Rogers. Let's give them all a warm welcome. Finally, tonight we are not only celebrating and building a brighter future through this new spectacular group of winners, we are making and writing history of the future. That is, running a consecutive and ever-growing Writers of the Future contest for 3 decades and the Illustrators of the Future contest for a quarter of a century, and through that, fostering hundreds of artists and writers whose creative works are rippling through the latitudes and longitudes of this planet. And without them, well, there would be no stories, no art, and we certainly wouldn't be here right now. A number of them are with us tonight. Will all past winners please stand up and be acknowledged? In 2013, both contests continued to expand dramatically, not only in quantity and quality of entries, but there is also an inherent expansion in the sheer production of our past winners. To kick off the year and immediately following last year's award ceremony, we had national and international print, internet, radio, and TV media introducing our winners to their future audiences. And to appreciate the scope of the contest, here's but a fraction of what happened in the past year with our former winners. Douglas Bosley was a winner in the 2013 National Society of Arts and Letters printmaking. Ty Carter is working on the upcoming Peanuts movie for Blue Sky Studios, and he recently published a book, Musings and Wanderings. For this year's Spectrum Fantastic Art Awards, Sean Tan was nominated for Grim Tales, A Thousand Furs, and Omar Ryan for The Long Walk Home. Omar also illustrated The Lords of Trillium, published just last month. Robert Castillo was storyboard artist for the documentary Kids for Cash and The Angriest Man in Brooklyn, a film releasing later this year. Jing Huang Hu won the Public Choice Award of the 2013 Art Gemini Prize for her art Indulge Me. Ken Liu again won a Hugo Award for Best Short Story Mono No Aware and was nominated for a Nebula for The Litigation Master and the Monkey King. He also took home the World Science Fiction Association Small Press Award for Good Hunting. Jay Lake received a Hugo nomination for The Stars Do Not Lie, and Aliette de Bodard for both Best Novella on a Red Station Drifting and Best Short Story Immersion. Aliette won the Nebula for Immersion and was nominated a Nebula for Best Novelette, The Waiting Stars. Immersion also got her a Locus Award and a British Science Fiction Association Award nomination, and I think we can safely say she had a good year. Also a finalist for the Nebula was Karen Joy Fowler for Best Novel, We Are All Completely Beside Ourselves. And just this past week, this novel earned Karen the prestigious PEN/Faulkner Award for Best Fiction of the Year. As for the Locus Award, no less than 4 of our past winners were finalists, and 11 past winners earned nominations. 2 of our winners from Volume 29 already received their first awards. Tina Gower earned the 2013 Daphne du Maurier Award for Excellence in Mystery Suspense for her story Identity. And Brian Trent won Best Story of the Year by Apex Magazine with A Matter of Shapespace. We had an impressive 10 past winners published in the 2014 Campbellian Anthology, and this next one must be a first. Jason Fisher from Down Under had his winning story written as an opera libretto. Finally, Patrick Rothfuss's best-selling series, The Kingkiller Chronicle, has been optioned by 20th Century Fox. As for the number of publications, no less than 45 novels and 200 short stories were published by our winners this past year, simply too many to individually cover. And those are the highlights. Add these achievements to letters of acknowledgments and congratulations to the contests, their founder, all winners, and their profound influence on our culture from the Mayor of Los Angeles, Eric Garcetti, Member of Congress from Florida, Corinne Brown, Hollywood's very own Member of Congress, Adam Schiff, and California Senator Dianne Feinstein. And with that, we have every reason in the book to celebrate tonight. With tens of thousands of entrants over the years, we now have submissions from 169 countries, and this past year once again surpassing any prior year on entries for both contests. And as the contest grows, so does the administration and the promotion of contests and winners. Beginning this year with each volume, one of our judges will be chosen to act as art director, giving the winning artist the opportunity to learn from our world-class panel of judges. Better yet, illustrator winners will receive letters of recommendation from our judges in order to help them gain the credibility and recognition that they so richly deserve. We are also proud to announce a new website with a much improved navigation and where we now feature a full universe of all past writer and illustrator winners. With the success of our annual Writers' Workshop, we are currently working with a team of educators to test and create a Writers of the Future curriculum resource kit, which will include a creative writing unit plan for speculative fiction, a documentary on the contest, several volumes of the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future anthologies, and, of course, contest rules for submission to the contest. And at this time, I would also like to acknowledge and say goodbye to our friend and editor, mentor, author, grandmaster, and judge of the Writers of the Future contest since 1985, Frederick Pohl. He will He will forever remain in our hearts as that irreplaceable cornerstone that he was to the contest, to countless writers that he mentored, and to the field of speculative fiction at large. He will be fondly remembered and greatly missed. L. Ron Hubbard founded the contest after a lifetime of getting to know this business of writing. We are, in fact, this year celebrating his 80th anniversary as a professional writer. His career started while a student at the George Washington University, writing at first for the University Hatchet and as a roving reporter for the Sportsman Pilot. His first professionally published fiction story was an action-adventure thriller, The Green God, which came out in the 1934 Thrilling Adventures during the height of the Depression. He soon proved he could glide with ease from genre to genre, adventure, western, mystery, detective, and even romance. He eventually entered the field of speculative fiction in 1938, enlisted by publisher Street and Smith to transform the genre with real characterization. How he ended up among the top authors of the golden age of science fiction? Well, as for that account, I would like you to hear it from Mr. Hubbard himself, as he described it years later to a group of students.
I was a member of the first class in nuclear physics. We call it atomic and molecular phenomena then, of which nuclear physics, by the way, is only one small part. It was not at that time, and is not now, an open and shut subject. It permits speculation. Atomic and molecular phenomena is simply no more, no less than what do electrons and nuclei and so forth do when you do something to them. But this whole subject was being grooved down, not by anybody's choice or selection, to a very forceful study of splitting the atom. And the splitting of the atom was at that time a fact. Everybody thinks the atomic bomb suddenly blew into our knowledge full-armed in 1943 or 45 or something like that, and then we bombed Japan. That's not true. The atomic bomb technology and so forth was developed rather fully for decades before anybody put it to use. It required somebody to sit down to a desk and write a check. The technology was there, but the money, the tremendous quantity of money necessary to develop nuclear physics was not written. But nearly all nuclear physicists, atomic and molecular phenomena boys, Buck Rogers boys, we were known as, Buck Rogers, the comic strip character, space opera and so forth. For all the years between 32, let us say, and 1943, nobody had any use for a Buck Rogers boy. There was nothing he could be used for. So after I finished training, the Depression was on us in full, and it was obvious that the only use to which you could put this Buck Rogers information was, of course, science fiction. And like so many of the boys who studied in that field, I did. I wrote science fiction for years as the only use made of this material. And very interesting use it was, too. Developed tremendous numbers of friends in science fiction, and I also wrote other types of stories and made a very successful career out of it in the field of writing.
There is an especially poignant statement that Mr. Hubbard made on writing, and it reads in part, "Learn to write when you would rather sleep. Learn to exercise this gift of language when no conscious portion of your wits can vibrate to anything but worry. Learn to write so, my son, and you can call yourself writer." Having reached the top as a writer himself, L. Ron Hubbard also wanted to guide new writers and help them overcome obstacles they were likely to face, both in producing good work and in getting it published. He shared his experience as an author with creative writing students at Harvard and George Washington universities. As president of the New York chapter of the American Fiction Guild, he made it easier for writers to join the guild. And determined to help aspiring writers in any way he could, he also penned a series of how-to articles that were published in magazines throughout the 1930s and 40s. There was one magazine in particular, Writer's Digest, that in 1936 published a timeless essay by L. Ron Hubbard. It was on the subject of writing entitled Magic Out of a Hat, and it is to this day used in the Writers of the Future workshop. Writer's Digest has since its inception chronicled the culture of the writer, featuring practical advice, tips, and exercises on writing and the business side of publishing. With a common purpose to help the novice writer, it is for a good reason that a Writer's Digest representative is here tonight to offer a special presentation. She has authored and published 30 books of fiction and has won every major award, including 2 Hugos, 5 Nebulas, a Sturgeon, and the John W. Campbell Memorial Award. She is the author of 3 books on writing and has been a Writer's Digest magazine columnist for 16 years. Please welcome Nancy Kress.
very much. When I started writing, sometime during the early Jurassic, the Writers of the Future contest did not exist. I wish it had. I would have entered it in a New York minute, and if I'd been fortunate enough to win, the workshops and the encouragement might have gotten me to consistent publication much earlier. And then I could have joined the fellowship of such distinguished winners and finalists as Karen Joy Fowler, Mary Torzillo, Eric Flint, Jay Lake, Ken Liu, Ken Scholes, and Aliette de Bodard. However, writers of my generation did have Writer's Digest magazine, which is nearing its 100th birthday. Founded in 1920 by Ed Rosenthal, it was originally called Successful Writing. The magazine has offered advice and encouragement to 4 generations of writers. In its second decade, one of the how-to articles was written by L. Ron Hubbard, published in our January 1936 issue. Subsequently, Writer's Digest was privileged to publish pieces by many other distinguished writers, including H.G. Wells, Somerset Maugham, Eudora Welty, and Jack Kerouac. Ken Kesey talked about the ups and downs of a writing career. Ray Bradbury wrote on the most productive Zen-like approach to creativity. Stephen King showed how to mine your own fears when writing horror. But let me return for a moment to that article by L. Ron Hubbard. In it, he traced, step by step, how a throwaway challenge by friends, write about a random object in this room, became a complete story. He did not have the entire narrative in mind when he began, but instead he wrote to discover its plot. The protagonist experiences an initial event which grows larger and larger significance as time passes. And that is what is happening here today as well. The Writers of the Future contest and the attendant workshops are among the initial events of these new writers' careers. Over time, those careers will grow ever more significant. As you write, you will discover your own personal narrative, the arc of your own career. And this weekend will have played a part in that unfolding plot. For that reason, not only the stories you've written so far, but the ones you will go on to write, Writer's Digest magazine is proud to honor L. Ron Hubbard and the enduring Writers of the Future contest. In recognition of 3 decades of giving aspiring writers a chance for their creative efforts to be seen and acknowledged, while further providing them hope, inspiration, vision, and success, we salute L. Ron Hubbard and the enduring Writers of the Future contest.
Now, to present the L. Ron Hubbard Lifetime Achievement Award, please welcome to the stage Contest Director Joni Labaki.
The L. Ron Hubbard Lifetime Achievement Award is bestowed to individuals for their outstanding contribution to the fields of the art and writing. It has in the past been presented to luminaries and masters Jack Williamson, Frederick Pohl, Algis Budrys, Frank Frazetta, Anne McCaffrey, Frank Kelly Freese, Robert Silverberg, Larry Niven, Jerry Purnell, Charles Brown, and Gregory Benford. This year, we are presenting the award to a very special individual and friend. He is the author of science fiction classics Ender's Game, Ender's Shadow, and Speaker for the Dead. Yes. and also writes contemporary fantasy, biblical novels, poetry, and many plays and scripts. He has won the John W. Campbell Award, the Nebula Award twice, the Hugo 4 times, and the 2008 Margaret Way Edwards Award for Young Adult Literature. He has joined the contest in its 3rd year when he was a guest instructor at the Writers' Workshop at Sag Harbor, Long Island, along with Algis Budrys, another newcomer, Tim Powers. A consummate writer and a judge of the Writers of the Future contest since 1994, he is also a passionate teacher who has been an inspiration to countless aspiring writers through his books on writing and his literary boot camps. For nearly 3 decades of dedicated service to discovering new talent, it is now my greatest honor and privilege to bestow the L. Ron Hubbard Lifetime Achievement Award to Orson Scott Card.
Well, you're very kind. I had to look inside to see if they'd filled it with anything. But they know I'm a Mormon and they weren't sure at all what they could put in it. I admit that when I first heard about the Writers of the Future contest, I was skeptical. I don't think of writing as a competitive sport. But then the first anthology came out, and when it came out, I was writing a regular review column of short fiction for Richard Geiss's Science Fiction Review magazine. And for that, I was reading every single short story published in magazines and anthologies, and I couldn't leave out Writers of the Future. I was so impressed with the quality of work that appeared in that book that ever since then, I continue to give it the same rave review I gave it at the time. I tell all of my writing students that if they're writing science fiction or fantasy, their stories should always go first to the Writers of the Future contest, and only if the contest does not declare it a winner should they submit it to anyone else. And I realize that this means that all other magazines and anthologies are relegated to publishing Writers of the Future losers. So be it. Back when Harry Potter was ruling the New York Times bestseller list, there were a lot of whiny babies who complained that it was taking up all the slots that real grown-up books should have been taking. And so they created the children's book list in order to move Harry Potter out of the way of those whiny babies. And I always thought that they misunderstood the whole point of this, that, well, I knew quite a few kids who had been non-readers before Harry Potter, who had become avid readers because of Harry Potter. And I figured that J.K. Rowling's career existed in order to advance mine. In this universe of writers, a very small universe, a pocket universe, there are never really any rivals. Anyone who becomes a reader because of one author's book becomes a hungry, voracious predator searching for more books to devour. The nice thing is that they're fairly easy to chase down. They stay where you set them. I confess that there are some that have been sitting beside my bed for decades now. No, we do not move them to vacuum under them because they could not possibly collect dust there. So there are times when I solipsistically think that perhaps Larry Niven's career existed only in order to create a readership for my work. But then I decided that reading Niven is its own reward. And we all exist in order to tell our lies to whatever group of believing, caring readers we can find. I want to make sure I don't leave out anything I wanted to say because, God forbid, you should miss any of my thoughts. But What I really love about the Writers of the Future workshop is that the contest operators look out for these writers for many years to come. That list of achievements of former winners, they didn't have to do a lot of research and Google everybody's name and put it all together. They only had to walk into the room where they collect all the works of past winners and just scan the shelves. They're watching all along because they really do care about advancing the careers of these writers. Not because they're interested in the well-being of their families, though I'm sure they are, but because they care about the field of literature, about what literature is going to become, about what it's going to do to our culture. It's the writers who create our culture. It's the writers who make up the movies. They are the authors of the films, not the directors, unless they're the same person. It's the writers who write all of the political speeches, because we all know how badly the politicians do when they go off book. It's the writers who make up the world. And the Writers of the Future contest looks for people with the best imaginations, who can see through the possibilities of their strangest and best ideas, and tell stories that intrigue us and involve us. So to be honored by this group means a great deal to me. To be given a Lifetime Achievement Award is a kind of mixed honor. I was talking to Larry Niven just a few moments ago, and I promised him that because I was being given this award, I would die at this podium tonight. I could not think of a better way to maximize the publicity of this event. And Larry Niven wholeheartedly agreed. But I'm sorry, Larry, apparently this is not as emotional as I thought it was going to be. My heart is in fibrillation right now, but it always is. So apparently nothing untoward is going to happen, except that I am grateful to receive this award, grateful to have my work in the past recognized, and I hope that in the future I will continue to bring honor to the award as the award now brings honor to me. Thank you very much.
Our first guest speaker hails from the North, Canada. He has over 20 years of experience in the publishing industry as it has evolved from brick-and-mortar operations to online venues. He has operated a successful self-publishing business, is a member of the board of directors for BookNet Canada, a past president of Canadian Booksellers Association, and if that wasn't enough, he's also a published author. Mark joined the Kobo team in 2011. For any of you who might not know this, Kobo is a coined word using the same letters as book, B-O-O-K, and is the non-US answer to Kindle, supporting no less than 67 different languages. Speaking from experience, he is going to talk to you about the publishing of the past and publishing of the future. Please welcome Mr. Mark Lefebvre.
Thank you very much. Publishing was derived from humankind's innate desire to share stories, starting with people huddled around campfires to hear adventures about the world beyond the safety of their firelight. Handwritten scrolls represented one of the first forms of wider distribution of the written word, but it was limited to an elite group. It wasn't until Gutenberg's invention of the printing press that books became available to a larger audience, and the modern era of publishing began. But it was still mostly the rich and upper middle class who had easy access to reading. The invention of the mass-market paperback dramatically broadened distribution, and more people than ever before suddenly had affordable access to full-length books. And now, with the growth of digital printing and ebooks, the audience has grown to an unprecedented global world market, reaching more readers than ever in the history of publishing. If publishing's purpose is bringing writer and reader together, it's important to note how each step in our evolution has facilitated that, and how each new technology adds to the existing ones without ever completely destroying the previous incarnation, with perhaps one or two exceptions. For example, there currently isn't a huge demand for scroll makers. But all jokes aside, this is important to reflect on when we look at this brave new world of digital publishing and ebooks and examine how writers and publishers can take advantage of new technologies to share stories in fascinating ways. It starts with speculation and imagination. In his introduction to the novel Battlefield Earth, L. Ron Hubbard called science fiction the herald of possibility and the dream that precedes the dawn when the inventor or scientist awakens, wondering whether he could make those dreams come true. In other words, science fiction to science fact. And this is no different in the world of publishing. The transfer of knowledge and fiction through electronic means and devices is but another offspring from science fiction authors of the past and even of the present. It was science fiction. It is now science fact. Isaac Asimov's 1951 short story, The Fun They Had, set in 2157, speculates about Telebook and features students joking about the discovery of this ancient artifact, a yellow, crinkly, printed book. And I quote, "It was awfully funny to read words that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to on a screen. And when they turned back to the page before, it had the same words printed on it than it had when they read it the first time." In 2001, A Space Odyssey, Arthur C. Clarke mentions an electronic news pad, a precursor for the electronic book and tablets of today. And L. Ron Hubbard spoke himself of the Vocoscriber in the Mission Earth series, written and published in the 1980s when electronic publishing was still mostly science fiction. In his 1999 novel Flash Forward, Robert J. Sawyer imagined going into a bookstore to order an out-of-print book from a digital catalog and then sipping coffee while waiting for the book to be printed in the back room of the bookstore. A decade later, when launching his novel Watch, Sawyer stood in a bookstore in front of just such a device, known as an espresso book machine, with a digital catalog of almost 5 million titles. Today, there are more than 70 in libraries and bookstores around the globe, bringing the power of publishing right into local communities. Stories that transcend a single media platform are continually being experimented with. Apps and location-based platforms allow for interesting and unique new forms of storytelling. Naomi Alderman's Zombies Run app incorporates brilliant audio storytelling, gamification, and GPS-based fitness tracking. Users listen to dramatic audio stories while running and collecting artifacts to help build a larger population of survivors, all while avoiding random zombie attacks that force them to run 10% faster for a full minute or else be captured by a roaming zombie herd. Imagine, then, a murder mystery that requires the reader to participate by navigating time and space in order to follow the storyline along, and in conjunction with the story's main characters, discover clues in real time. This is merely one of many possible developments ahead of us. As creators and publishers continue to experiment with technology, we've only begun to see the results of this inventive combination of storytelling and audience participation. Now, some books are only produced based on crowdsourced funding through places like Kickstarter and Pubslush. This is audience feedback before a project is produced. Nobody can properly predict exactly what the future of publishing will be. But if you trace recent developments, you'll likely find one strong commonality. The future of publishing will involve more collaboration than ever before. Collaborations between multiple authors and publishers, and interactive collaborations between authors, publishers, and readers. It's an interesting 360 back to storytelling roots, that intimate relationship between creator and participant. And it has never been a more exciting and dynamic time to be a writer or a reader. To the winners of Writers and Illustrators of the Future, I wish you the best of luck. But one thing I know for certain, evidenced through the fact that you are here, is that you, the creators we are honoring here tonight, will be a force in crafting shaping the collaborative future of publishing. Which is why I'm very excited to be presenting all winners with the beautiful Kobo Aura HD, designed to read This Cadillac of ebook readers is designed to read in direct sunlight or a lightless room. You can read in comfort and style, day or night, from Kobo's catalog of over 4 million books, magazines, and graphic novels. And the first title you'll find on your Kobo device is, of course, your very own L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future, Volume 30. You will also find Battlefield Earth by L. Ron Hubbard, one of the longest science fiction novels ever written. Welcome to the future of publishing, the future we are all writing together.
As for our keynote speaker, his is a story of making dreams come true, all of them. Starting out as a professional football player for the Detroit Lions, he went on to become a NASA astronaut. He completed 2 space shuttle missions to help build the International Space Station. He also served as the co-chair for the White House's Federal Coordination, developing the nation's 5-year plan for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education. Please welcome Mr. Leland Melvin.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm very honored and blessed to be here with some of these most talented writers and illustrators. Congratulations on your craft. Congratulations on what you do to help us see the really, really big picture. Now, Orson mentioned earlier that the writers are the ones that rule the world. They're really the ones that guide the universe, okay? There we are in the Milky Way, and if you drill down just a little bit more, you see here we are in our 8-planet system, formerly 9-planet system. That dwarf planet Pluto thing didn't work out. But when you're sitting there crafting your stories, you're helping inspire that next generation of explorers. You're helping inspire that next Ender's Game 5 or 6 or 7. You're the ones that are going to be leading the charge and helping advance our civilization. And so I think of the visionaries back in the day. In the 60s, we had 2 visionaries. We had President John F. Kennedy and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who believed in changing our world in a very different way. And JFK's words were, we're going to send a human being to the moon and back safely. And Dr. Martin Luther King, during that same time, was trying to bring together people from all races, keeping away the civil unrest. And so I think about when I was about maybe 4 or 5 years old at that time, and people say, well, when you watched Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin walk on the moon, was that inspired you to become an astronaut? I'm like, no, not really. It was really interesting people in this field, in this room probably, that had something to do with people like Nichelle Nichols. She was a really interesting person on TV. So when you think about Nichelle Nichols, she was the first African-American female on the flight deck in a leadership position in the 60s. And you also had Captain Kirk kissing Nichelle Nichols, the first interracial kiss on television in the 60s. Now, you also had the first intergalactic kiss when he kissed the green person from another planet. But all of that comes from your pens and your illustrations. It comes from helping inspire that next generation. And I think about my parents, who, when I grew up in a small town in Lynchburg, Virginia, they were a community of educators that helped inspire me. And so they gave me certain things that inspired me. So when I thought about what was it that really got me going as a child, what inspired me was when I asked my dad for a skateboard. He said, we don't have the money, figure it out yourself. So I went to the wood shop, got some wood, bought the trucks after I got a paper route. He taught me how to think on my feet, think on myself to give me the things that I wanted. And he not only did it for me, he did it for the entire community. And my dad passed recently, and at this funeral, people came up to me to tell me, if it wasn't for your father, I would have been in jail, on drugs, or dead. So he affected this community in such a major way. And that's what communities like this that L. Ron has helped generate with these writers and these illustrators have helped change the world in such a significant way. So what inspired me? Chemistry. My mom gave me a chemistry set when I was a kid. I created the most incredible explosion in her living room, burned a hole in her carpet, and then she had a hand in my development. But it was a good, back in the day when you could do that. And then also I love sports. And so where did these formative things lead me? They led me to having money to buy a snowboard, becoming a chemist in college at the University of Richmond, and also, as Gunhill said, I was drafted to the Detroit Lions in the NFL. So, some Lions fans in here? Okay. So, so how do we help inspire and motivate those next generations? Being picked as an NFL draft pick, I pulled a hamstring in training camp. And so, yeah, I know, that hurt quite a bit. But from that injury, it led me on to do different things. So I had a plan B, which is my being an engineer at NASA, and did that for about 10 years. And a friend of mine, he turned to me and he said, Leland, here's an application to be an astronaut. Why don't you fill this out? And I looked at it, and I didn't think, I remember it Nichelle Nichols, someone kind of looked like me on the flight deck. But I said, I think I'll put that away. And that same year, a friend of mine, he applied to the astronaut corps and he got in. And I said to myself, wait a minute. If NASA's letting knuckleheads like that in to become astronauts, maybe I can become one too. So I applied that next year, and it was one of the most incredible things. If you look, you see can you find me in the crowd? Where's Leland? Am I in the front row? In the front to the left or to the side or somewhere? But this was our class in 1998. It was 31 of us from around the world working together to train to become astronauts. And if you look at me, I had never flown a jet before. Now I'm in charge of flying a jet from the back seat, and it was an incredible experience. But before going to space, I had many challenges. And one of the most severe challenges that I had was after training, this was one of our training events in this really big pool, 6 million gallon pool, which has a space shuttle and the space station below in the water. And I was going down for the first time and realized that in my helmet in the white suit, there was no Valsalva pad. And this is a little styrofoam block that allows you to press your nose against it to clear your ears. I'm the kind of guy, I need to press my nose to clear. This was not in my suit. Long story short, I came out of the water completely deaf. And the doctors and people from around the world did not know what had happened to me. So the flight surgeon said, you're medically disqualified to fly in space. You will never fly in space. But I did not give up. So for all those writers who have been told their work is horrible and you will never be successful as a writer, never give up, because you will find something else that believes in you. And never give up on yourself. Always believe in yourself. I always had a passion for education from my parents, and so I said, well, while I'm waiting to see what's going to happen with my hearing did come back slowly, but I was still medically disqualified. So I went to Washington and worked in education. I worked with students from all around the world, and I said, if I'm not going to fly, at least I'm going to help other people find their dreams and their inspiration. And then another defining moment happened, which was the Columbia accident. And we have Dr. June Scobie Rogers in here, who is the widow of Dick Scobie from the Challenger accident. And we're all one big family. We get through, when we have these things that happen, we get through it. We help inspire others. And so this defining moment for me, I was in Washington, D.C. working with teachers and students to help them become astronauts. And then the Columbia tragedy happened. I was flying around the country with the families, going to the different memorial services. And then as we were flying and taking off, the chief flight surgeon was taking notes. So when I was ready to go back to Houston to see what I was going to do, he wrote me a waiver and said, Leland, I believe in you. You're doing great work. You should fly in space. So I went back to Houston with the, the get out of jail free card. I walked back, and then I get assigned to 2 space shuttle missions on Atlantis. I flew in Atlantis. So the people that went down to Houston, or to Florida in 1997 to see Atlantis, that was also my bird. I flew that on both flights, 2008, 2009. And here's a picture of me working on the flight deck. You see me busy reading some of the flight data file. Writers had to make that data file. So you guys are helping us here. And then also, one of my main tasks was to install the Columbus Laboratory, European Space Agency's laboratory. So if you see here, I used the robotic arm at the top to install this. And I remember when I first got the assignment, there were some German flight controllers in Houston, and they said, "Congratulations, Leland," high-fiving me, you know, "Congratulations, congratulations." And then as I'm walking out of the room, one of them turns to me and says, "You know, we've been waiting 10 years. Don't screw it up." No pressure, no pressure. So after installation of this Columbus module, we had this huge meal over in the Russian segment. We called it the Space Smorgasbord. And if you look at this picture, you see African American, Asian American, French, German, Russian, the first female commander of the International Space Station. You also see two people that the countries we used to fight against, Russia and Germany. So when you think about the things that we do as a civilization to help advance ourselves, we do it in space together, collectively. And I think about Dr. Peggy Whitson. She had a very defining moment as the commander of the space station. When she came home on her last mission, now how many of you have seen Gravity? Some of you in here? Did you like Gravity? Okay, I liked it. I really liked it a lot. A few little things here and there with physics, but I really liked it. But when Peggy came back on her last mission, if you look at the scorch marks in Kazakhstan, you actually see where the Soyuz capsule was burned. As they came back on reentry, the top portion of the Soyuz, there were 8 bolts that should have explosively come apart, 2 did not, so they were receiving 8G spikes as they came home. And it was a really tragic moment, but the bolts finally came undone, they came home, they scorched Kazakhstan landscape, and they survived. And so when you think about art imitating life, it's life imitating art. So what you do with your skills in your writing, in your illustrations, help define not just our world, Orson, our universe. Thank you very much.
Like a morning sun, a light begins. A fire that burns, it burns within. It's a weight I've had all my life, dreaming of more than I could give. But the wind has brushed against me, and all that was placed upon me pushes me to a moment I've lived 1,000 times. But today, it's real, today it's mine. I don't need wings to fly, I don't need wings to help me touch the sky. I rise high to never fall. I'll redefine impossible. In each breath there's a dream that I can do almost anything. So I look down, 'cause I'm already on the ground. There are many steps to greatness, and times I think I'll break, but every setback moves me forward until the stars release my strength. So I climbed as high as I could, until I realized I had nothing left to prove, and didn't need to climb. It's always been real, it's always been mine. I don't need wings to fly, I don't need wings to help me touch the sky. I rise high to never fall. I'll redefine impossible. In each breath there's a dream that I can do almost anything, so I look down. Ooh, 'cause I'm already off the ground. Oh, I don't need wings to fly, to fly. I saw my future, I chose to leave. I said, here I am, I held my destiny, 'cause I'm already off the ground. I don't need wings to fly, I don't need wings to help me touch the sky. I rise high to never fall, I'll redefine impossible. In each breath there's a dream that I can do almost anything, so I look down, 'cause I'm already, I don't need wings to fly, I don't need wings to help me touch the sky. I rise high to never fall, I'll redefine impossible. In each breath there's a dream, yeah, that I can do almost anything, so I look down, 'cause I'm already off the ground.
The time has come to present the much-deserved awards. Each quarter, our panel of blue-ribbon judges scours through thousands of submissions, searching for the best new authors and top illustrators. Once the stories are selected, an illustrator is assigned to depict a winning story. This isn't done lightly. We try to pair illustrators to stories in a way that will create a fusion of words and images, one that captures the tone and style of the author, melding it with the vision and skills of the artist. As we present the awards, we invite you to join us for a very special excursion into Volume 30, including all 12 of the prize-winning stories, along with one very special finalist tale. It's a trip through time and space, through wonders and fears and joys that can be realized only in the realm of imagination. Our journey starts with the story Animal, where most people care little for the world's endangered species, but some would give everything for them. Please welcome Writers of the Future Judge Eric Flint and Illustrators of the Future Judge Cliff Nilsson.
Terry Madden, author of Animal, has been writing since she first fell in love with the worlds created by Tolkien, Herbert, Le Guin, and Heinlein. As a novelist and award-winning screenwriter, she has wandered the lands of historical and mainstream fiction. Terry has worked in molecular biology and genetic research labs and currently teaches high school. She is now at work on the second novel in her fantasy series, Three Wells of the Sea. Please congratulate author Terry Madden.
Thank you. Miguel Cervantes once said, "No mother or father thinks their own children are ugly." This is even truer when we talk about the offspring of the mind. Thanks to Author Services, Galaxy Press, L. Ron Hubbard, the stellar judges here tonight, Us new writers in the business have now come to believe that our children are indeed beautiful, thanks to you. I'd like to especially thank Tim and Dave for just an incredible week and sharing their time and their wisdom with us. So much appreciated. I'd like to thank my family and friends who are numerous and very supportive of me. I would like to thank my students, both past and present. They continue to challenge me, obviously, and beyond that, they also inspire me. I lost my mother this year and my best friend, and I wish they were here tonight, but I'm sure they're looking over their shoulder and smiling. Thank you so much.
Son-hee Lim, illustrator for Animal, was born in South Korea. With much thanks to her older brother, she grew up with the fantasy adventure books and games. She received a bachelor's degree in both cartooning and illustration from Sangmyung University in South Korea and the School of Visual Arts in New York. Currently, she works as a freelance illustrator. Please congratulate Son-hee Lim.
Well, first I want to say that I am very honored to be here. I had such an experience to meet all the greatly talented writers and illustrators. I never expected to have this great opportunity. And I mean, I learned a lot from the previous days' workshops, and I know that I will learn more for the future from this experience. And I'd like to thank my family and my friends for supporting me and being there and encouraging me. Without their support, I couldn't have made it here today. Lastly, I want to thank who made this possible, put this amazing event together, brought this amazing opportunity to us writers and illustrators. Thank you so much.
In another range of mountains, mirrors have strange powers, but only one woman knows how to use them. Please welcome Writers of the Future Judge Kevin J. Anderson and Dr. June Scobie Rogers.
First off, I just want to quickly also thank Orson Scott Card for creating an audience for my work long before my career ever started. Megan O'Keefe, author of Another Range of Mountains, has worked in both arts management and graphic design. Megan lives in the Bay Area of California with her fiancé, where she makes soap for a living. It's only a little bit like Fight Club. Writers of the Future is her first published story. Please congratulate author Megan O'Keefe.
Well, I've spent my life daydreaming and writing about it, and I don't think I ever could have dreamed of this. I would like to thank Author Services and Galaxy Press for making this whole contest possible, and of course all the past winners and judges for making this week the wondrous experience it's been. I'd of course like to thank my mom, who always encouraged me to read and write, and my fiance for his unending support, and also my critique friends for their unrelenting honesty. I have never before been so excited for the future. Thank you.
Hello, and all of you up there too. My goodness, what a celebration. Sarah Webb, illustrator for Another Range of Mountains, was born and raised in Fairbanks, Alaska. She won a national gold medal in the 2013 Scholastic Art and Writing Competition, and her work has been published in Expos 11, Imagine FX magazine. She's currently attending the Maryland Institute College of Art, where she majors in illustration. Please congratulate with me the most talented artist of all, Sarah Webb.
I'd like to thank my parents and teachers for encouraging me to go after my dreams. And I also want to thank the other artists here. I feel like meeting all of you guys has been the best part of this whole event. And I'm so grateful to all the judges and everyone here I've met who has made this event possible. This week has really been one of the best of my whole life.
In Shifter, Fat Reggie can be whoever he wants to be, but identity comes with a price. Please welcome Writers of the Future Judge Rebecca Mesta and Illustrators of the Future Judge Robert Castillo.
Paul Eckhart, author of Shifter, did not get serious about writing until high school. Paul graduated college with degrees in computer science and creative writing. He is excited to continue his adventures in storytelling. Please congratulate author Paul Eckhart.
It's beautiful. I was telling the people out on the red carpet during the interviews that for the past 24 hours I have been frantically rewriting this speech over and over in my head. And I'm so glad to finally be here so that I can find out exactly what I'm going to say. I have to begin by thanking God and my family. Those are the two constants throughout my life, and without them, nothing would be possible for me. I also have to thank Mr. Hubbard for establishing this contest.
and the tireless efforts of all of the good people at Galaxy Press and Author Services. You were there in the mornings when we arrived, and most of the time you were there in the evenings when we left. And I think, as the workshop attendees, we don't even begin to understand the effort that you put into making this week the incredible experience that it has been. I also have to single out 5 people who have been the biggest influences on my writing career. Beginning with one of the true class acts of this industry, Tim Powers. Tim, we met at Conduit in Salt Lake City a few years ago, and after I met you and had lunch with you, something in my head changed, and I left that meeting knowing that it was time to stop ignoring that little voice in my head that told me it was time to get to work and write something. To Orson Scott Card for your literary boot camp. That was a foundational experience for me, giving me the beginnings of the toolbox. Also to Dave Wolverton. Every career has ups and downs, and your novel writing workshop came around at a time when I was in one of the downs, and your support and encouragement at that workshop helped correct the course of this career. And also to Dean Wesley Smith and Christine Catherine Rush. Over the past few years in the workshops that I've attended, you've given me an amazing set of tools to use, things I didn't know existed. And without all of you, I would not be here. Thanks also to Michael Talbot for his amazing illustration for the story. And also, thank you to the fellow winners of this year's anthology. Since we went to the printing company, I've snuck my way back to that book every chance I've got, and I've made it through 3/4 of it so far, and I've just been blown away by your talent. It is such an honor to share that table of contents with you. I can't wait to see where we go from here.
Good evening. Michael Talbot, illustrator for Shifter, is probably not the average Jamaican. But at the same time, he isn't much different from everyone else who might be out there striving to do what they love and longing to fulfill dreams. Michael wishes to inspire and speak to others through his artwork, leaving everyone who sees his work hanging in the balance of reality and wonder. Please congratulate artist Michael Talbot.
Okay. So I actually intended to apply for a scholarship, and I ended up here. I don't know. I'd like to thank everybody who made this possible, who put the whole event together, all the judges, the contestants as well, everyone who spoke to us through the workshops and stuff, and everyone else who encouraged me along the way, who said that you're going to make it one day. Well, I guess I'm here. So, thank you.
In The Shoddy Exile, a mail-order bride can bring nothing with her between the stars, except all kinds of heartache and a secret hope.
Namo Namo Shri Gaya.
Please welcome Writers of the Future Judge Todd McCaffrey and Kylen Rumbo.
Amanda Forrest, author of The Shadi Exile, has slept under the stars on the South China Sea while strapped to the sides of 1,000-foot cliffs and, much to her waking surprise, along the morning migratory path of a Himalayan goat herd. Writers of the Future is her fourth professional sale, and she has since had 4 more stories accepted at professional rates, including sales to Asimov's, Apex, and Upgraded. Please congratulate author Amanda Forrest.
Well, I, there at the last minute, tried to look through the program and figure out who the names of these dancers were, because what a wonderful interpretation. That was amazing. So thank you. And in fact, that leads into that this has been such a tremendous experience. Where else can a new writer, a new illustrator go and see their art showcased so beautifully? So thank you. Everyone at Author Services, Galaxy Press has been amazing. As Paul was saying, we came back there last night, 10, 11 at night. They're not home. They didn't go home at 5. They were there at 11, burning the midnight oil to make this possible for us. And judges, both the judges and the speakers who are not judges and came just to bestow upon us their generosity and their knowledge. It's been amazing. A few years ago, I was reading and dreaming, what would it be like to be these people? And this week, they were standing 10 feet away and telling me, you can be me. And I'm going to tell you how. And what kind of profession, where else can you get something like that? So thank you, judges. And most importantly, I'd like to thank everyone that helped me get to this point, my family and friends. That starts with my husband, Dave, who is the most solid foundation that anyone could build a life with. He reads everything I write, believes in me when I don't, tells me when it sucks, and I would be nowhere without him. My daughter Ella is watching this, if she's still awake, on TV at home right now. She's 4. And until I became a mother, I would not have had the depth in my stories and the understanding of the human condition that I needed. Some people come with that, but Ella has given that to me. And finally, my parents, who taught me that I could be anything that I wanted to be. I could change my life's focus whenever I wanted, and I could still succeed. My mama read me probably 50,000 pages of literature aloud. She read me Gone with the Wind. She read me The Lord of the Rings. And what dedication to teaching and to literature. And my dad, who taught me curiosity and that humans learn and we invent and we think. So thank you, everyone. This has been amazing.
Vincent Michael Coviello, illustrator of The Shoddy Exile, born in Norwood, Massachusetts, has always had an interest in the creatures and characters and monsters that go bump in the night. A graduate of the Art Institute of Boston at Lesley University, Vincent Michael is pursuing a career as a pre-production artist for the video game and film industry. Vincent Michael is also the artist for Orson Scott Card's science fiction story Carousel, included in the Writers of Future Volume 30. So please congratulate artist Vincent Michael Coviello.
I am truly grateful for this opportunity and would like to thank L. Ron Hubbard, Author Services, and Galaxy Press for making this all possible. To the judges, mentors, and fellow artists, thank you for such an amazing experience. And finally, I'd like to thank my mother, who believed that this was always possible for me. Thank you.
In Rainbows for Other Days, a cyborg forest ranger is saving the world, just not the people on it. Please welcome Writers of the Future Judge Nina Kariki Hoffman and Kerry O'Quinn.
C. Stuart Hardwick, author of Rainbows for Other Days, is a real Southerner from South Dakota. Stuart spent summers creating radio shows on antique recording tape, making stop animation films, and speculating down the barrel of a telescope. Stewart's Rainbows for Other Days began as a study of just such a crossroads and is now being developed into a novel. Please congratulate author C. Stewart Hardwick.
Beautiful. Well, Leland said we're here to advance the cause of civilization, and I'm not going to debate him. I think I started a little more humble. As I recall, when I was a little kid, I almost stepped on a snake, and I called my mother, and she came running, and she almost stepped on it too. The snake survived, don't worry, but later she told me, son, when you see a snake, don't yell mommy, mommy, yell snake. And that was my first writing lesson. I learned that words matter. So, thanks to my mom for filling my life with science and adventure and making sure I'd have stories to tell. Thanks to my sister for helping with the radio dramas and insisting that no, she would not stay up late and read the Martian Chronicles. I had to read it for myself. And to my aunt for the Boys' Life magazine, in which I first read A Tenderfoot in Space. And all the teachers from Miss Walsh in 7th grade up to Tim and Dave and the wonderful people that we've seen this week. And most of all, to my amazing, inspiring wife, Christina, who puts up with so much and sacrifices all the time with me while I'm doing this wonderful thing for civilization. And for ASI for keeping Ron Hubbard's legacy, and for all the judges and everybody that makes this contest possible for showing her that it isn't just that I don't want to do the dishes. And aside from that, I'll say most of you in this room know that writing is a really long and convoluted road for most of us. And sometimes it's hard just to know if we're going in the right direction. So thank you very much for everyone who's ever read my work and been generous enough to point me in the right direction. It's a little clearer now. Thank you.
Wow, standing room only. Good thing I didn't invite another guest. Andrew Sonia is the illustrator for Rainbows for Other Days. He was born and raised in Ottawa, Canada, and Andrew began painting fantasy and science fiction a long time ago when he was captured by Magic the Gathering. He has since then been profoundly inspired by painters from the 19th century. Andrew is also the artist for Mike Resnick's science fiction story, Robots Don't Cry, which is included in Writers of the Future, Volume 3. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate artist-illustrator Andrew Sonia.
Wow, feels really surreal to stand here in front of all of you. Finally, you play it through your head over and over, but never quite prepares you. All right, well, I'd like to say this is a huge honor for me. I never expected to be up here and win such an amazing award such as this, and I'm very grateful because most artists, they don't get such an opportunity like this to have such a support, and I really want to thank a lot of people who've been there for me over time. Firstly, though, I'd like to thank Joni, Author Services, L. Ron Hubbard, and Galaxy Press for making all of this possible here. Without them, I wouldn't be standing here in front of you right now. And I'd also like to thank all the judges. They gave an amazing workshop this past week. It's been really life-changing, and I don't know, it's really inspired me. Hopefully one day I can also give back in a similar manner. I'd like to thank my family, my girlfriend, and my other friends who have been there for me throughout the years and have given me the support and critiques that have allowed me to make it to where I am today. I look forward to seeing where my career goes in the future, and just thank you very much.
In Giants at the End of the World, all kinds of people want to take a trip to the end of the world. But what do they hope to gain? Please welcome Writers of the Future judge Mike Resnick and Anna Istiden.
Leena Licatello, the author of Giants at the End of the World, hails from Finland. This is not as unusual as you might think. As you've been seeing tonight, not only is the influence of science fiction worldwide, but so is the influence of writers of the future. When she was 16, her father urged her to begin reading in English, and thus she spent the next summer wading through his vast collection of fantasy and science fiction novels. Her Writers of the Future win is her third professional sale, following Weird Tales and Waylines and some semi-pro publications as well. She's recently finished writing a steampunk novel based and inspired by her winning short story. Please congratulate author Leena Licatello.
This is actually quite heavy. So first of all, I'm really, really honored to be here tonight. I feel really grateful. And I actually have a list of people I would like to thank, because I cannot actually remember anything at the moment. So, first of all, I would like to thank my parents. I would like to thank my friends. They can never ever, too much fun. There should always be more fun. I would like to thank Anne and Jeff Vandermeer for encouraging me, a novice writer from Finland, to start and continue writing in English. I would also like to thank the people who have made this contest possible. Mr. Hubbard, the lovely people at the Author Services and Galaxy Press, and of course the contest judges and our workshop instructors, especially Tim and Dave. Last of all, I would like to thank my darling dear husband, Matti, who understands how much it means for me to tell stories. Thank you, or as we say in Finnish, kiitos.
Trevor Smith, illustrator for Giants at the End of the World, has happily lived in Tucson, Arizona most of his life, except for 5 years in San Francisco while attending art school. His illustration degree focused on digital painting, which he uses to bring fantasy and sci-fi stories to life. Trevor revels in the fact that he will never run out of inspiration or ways to expand his art spirit. Please congratulate artist Trevor Smith.
This is fun. I'm really humbled. We were watching the video of the people I'm in company with now, the past winners, and this feeling of humility just hit me, and I choked up a little bit. This means a lot to me. I would like to thank everyone for continuing the legacy that is this contest. I feel it's just really important, and thank you for everyone, the judges and everyone who's contributed their time for this. I would especially like to thank my parents. I'll never forget when I told my parents I think I should be an artist. I expected good results, but I said to them, I think I should go to art school. I want to be an artist. They said, we know. You've been drawing since you were yay tall. We were waiting for you to say something. How can we help? And yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Hi, Mom and Dad. You made this possible for me. Really, I wouldn't be here without them. And thank you all.
In The Clouds in Her Eyes, a girl afflicted by a rare disease that leaves clouds in her eyes develops the gift to do what no one else can. Please welcome Writers of the Future Judge Dr. Jerry Purnell and Nancy Cartwright.
Thank you. Marvelous. Can you imagine anything better than that high dancer act? Liz Coulter, author of The Clouds in Her Eyes, lives in the Rocky Mountains and spends her time off with her husband, dogs, horses, and riding, and I presume a few other things. Currently, she works in medicine, but her real passion is her writing. Reading The Hobbit at 10 and then growing up on Star Trek engendered a lifelong love of speculative fiction. She currently has 2 completed fantasy novels and a new novel in progress, in addition to her short stories. Please congratulate author Liz Coulter.
Well, thank you. I am also very honored to be here. I'm very grateful to L. Ron Hubbard for starting this contest, and to all the staff, and I mean every one of them, at ASI and Galaxy Press, who are so hardworking to continue this great contest. I'd also like to thank all the judges who've come and spent their time with us this week, and most especially our workshop instructors, Tim Powers and Dave Wolverton. Thank you for everything, all the advice you've given us. I'd like to thank my husband, who's given up so much time that we could spend together so that I can write instead. And I'd like to thank my mother. She's 96, and she flew here from Colorado to be here tonight. No, she's at the back of the room. She is the one who taught me that I can do anything I really set my mind to, and I have used that to convince myself that I can be a writer. So I plan to keep working hard on that, and I plan to earn the title that you've given me here tonight as a writer of the future. Thank you.
Kirby Fagan, illustrator for The Clouds in Her Eyes, was raised in the Detroit area and received her bachelor's degree in illustration from Kendall College of Art and Design. After graduation, she continued her studies at the Illustration Master Class. Kirby is working on her first young adult novel cover, which will be published later this year. She hopes that many similar commissions follow. I hope she gets overwhelmed by them. Please help me congratulate artist Kirby Fagan.
What a special honor to be among so many talented individuals. Thank you all who have been involved in creating this special week. It's opportunities and passionate people like you that keep the genre alive. I hope to be as generous as many of you have been this week. A special thank you to my parents, family, and to Evan for their endless support. My heartfelt thank you.
In long jump, one lonely man finds out what it is like to become a god and create and lose the love of his life. Please welcome Writers of the Future Judge Dr. Doug Beeson and Jennifer Aspen.
Jerry Pournelle just told me backstage that I'm not going to be able to come next year once my wife sees me escorting Jennifer out. So thanks, Joni. Oleg Kazantsev, writer of The Long Jump, was born and raised in eastern Siberia, several miles from the Chinese border. After he got his first degree in computer science, Oleg decided that he wanted to try something new. So he attended Columbia College in Chicago to study fiction writing. Oleg's stories have appeared in such periodicals as Story Week Reader, Elastic Lumberjack, and Everyday Fiction. His comic book, With You, won the Alfred P. Weisman Award in 2012 and can be found on Amazon.com. So please congratulate author Oleg Kazantsev.
Boy, what a performance. I think I should start writing for ballets. But jokes aside, many years ago, being a science fiction writer was considered to be a synonym of being a dreamer. And as much as all of us love to dream, I'm proud that today being a science fiction writer means being a problem solver. Many years ago, 30 years ago, L. Ron Hubbard understood this, and he put enormous effort into helping emerging writers to find their way to wider audience. Today, I want to thank the Galaxy Press and Author Services for preserving his legacy and carrying on his, I would call it an endeavor. I want to congratulate all the fellow Writers of the Future contest winners, as well as our most talented illustrators of the future. Thank you, dear judges, workshop speakers, supporters, and friends. My warmest wishes to my family here in the United States and in the Far East of Russia. Спасибо вам всем большое.
Adam Brewster, illustrator for Long Jump, was born in Cambridge, England. He is an architect in 2 United Kingdom capitals, London and Edinburgh, as well as a busy CG artist, committed to challenging himself by illustrating the future. Adam is also the artist for L. Ron Hubbard's science fiction story, Beyond All Weapons, included in Writers of the Future, Volume 30. Please congratulate artist Adam Brewster.
Wow, what an honor it is to be here, and what a beautiful award as well. Thank you very much. When I was getting ready last weekend to fly in from Scotland to LA, they sent me a message. They said, prepare yourself for an awesome week. And they were not wrong. So I'd like to thank a few people, L. Ron Hubbard, and ASI, and Joni and her crew. They work tirelessly. It's humbling. It really is. It really is. I'd like to thank the judges for their time and expertise, especially those that taught us through the week and put us in the right direction. Val, Ron, Cliff, and Stephen, you guys rock. Thanks also for all those guys that came and told us about their past experiences and told us a few other tips and tricks along the way. I'd like to thank my parents, my colleagues, and my friends back home for all their support. And I'd like to thank you guys for reading the books. Last but not least, I'd like to thank my dear friend and partner in crime, Helen Jackson. She's the one who told me about this competition and encouraged me to enter. She's also supported me and made me do my best here. Helen, I know you're watching. This is for you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks very much.
In these walls of despair, there are only a few basic emotions, and a chemist with the right tools can create the one that could save your life while you wait. Please welcome Mrs. Nancy Kress and Illustrators of the Future Judge, Val Lindon.
Anea Lay, author of These Walls of Despair, was raised in Wisconsin, where she sells real estate. When she isn't advising clients on how well a potential home could be defended during the zombie apocalypse, she can be found running the Strange Horizons podcast or writing reviews for Publishers Weekly. Her short fiction has appeared in such places as Lightspeed, Apex, Daily Science Fiction, and Waylines. Her long fiction is currently looking for a home. Please congratulate author Anea Lay.
So I don't actually know whether anybody at the contest knows this because I'm a really bad person and forgot to tell them, but my very first story submission when I was 16 was to this contest. I'd done my million words. I'd been writing for 12 years. I clearly had this figured out. I was going to submit to them. I'd be the youngest winner ever. Nobody would deny my brilliance. I'm 28 now. That's the beginning of the story of how I got here. And the story of this whole process isn't done yet, obviously, because I'm not done yet. And I don't speculate on where things are going unless you're paying me at least 5 cents a word. But what I do know is that this particular chapter has been formed very strongly by not just this week, but all of the things that led up to it. This year is going to be a huge year of transition for me, and having to come out to this contest has provided the catalyst that let me figure out what my priorities are and what I need to do in order to get what I need to be happy. And I'm very grateful for that. I didn't submit to this contest again after the incident when I was 16 where they failed to see my brilliance for a very long time. I learned a lot in the meantime. One of the things I learned, though, was as I talked to other writers, how important this contest is to them. There are people who dream of winning this contest. They write 4 stories a year, they submit every quarter, and they wouldn't write at all if they didn't have this as a thing to aim for. And it's watching those stories that really drives home to me what a very big deal this is and leads to how very honored I feel to have achieved something that so many people want so much. It also makes it very touching when I see how many people work so hard and devote so much time to this contest, and to each of those people who are focused so much on what the writers and illustrators need in order for this to be meaningful to them and to launch them to where they need to go. You have my sincere thanks. To my sister back in Richmond, where all of my family is, who went to bed about 2 hours ago and isn't watching. Man, I would have said something to you if you were awake. And then last but not least, to my best friend Carl, who's came out here. I would not have made it to this week if you weren't there keeping me sane and Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everyone.
Good evening. This is amazing. Bernardo Mota. Bernardo Mota, illustrator for These Walls of Despair, was born in Portugal. His short comic won the second place in a contest for his age range, and he was formally honored as a young talent by his hometown the next year. He is now in his last year of high school and is very excited about what the future holds for him. Please congratulate this epicyclic artist, Bernardo Mota.
Hi everyone, this is amazing, this contest is amazing. This last week was one of the greatest weeks in my life so far. I'm so grateful to so many people. I want to thank our services, Galaxy Press. Joni did an amazing job preparing all of this. I want to thank the judges for their workshops and the ones that decided that for some reason I beer. And the present winners, the last winners, like the past winners, they were so inspiring, motivational, and all my friends, my family, they're being so supportive. I also like to thank the online art community, you guys know who you are, and Rhiannon Taylor for telling me about the contest. Thank you.
In Memories Bleed Beneath the Mask, when a Supreme Court judge prepares to die, the most valuable things he has to bequeath are his memories. Please welcome Writers of the Future Judge, Robert Sawyer.
Randy Henderson, author of Memories Bleed Beneath the Mask, was born in Washington. Randy studied social sciences and worked at a variety of jobs, such as weight loss counselor and writing tax sob stories for his clients. His first paid fiction, before he finally attended the Clarion West Writing Workshop. Randy began to publish in wondrous places such as Realms of Fantasy and Escape Pod before winning Writers of the Future. The first novel in his series, Fin Fancy Necromancy, is forthcoming in February 2015. Please congratulate author Randy Henderson.
A bit surreal. It's an amazing set and amazing show. They worked so hard on it. Thank you to Lady Gaga for her earrings. That's all right. All right. First, I want to say thank you to Vanessa Golitz, the illustrator of my story. It's an amazing illustration, and unfortunately, she can't be here. She's in Germany. I really wish she could share the stage with me because she really deserves some attention and appreciation. So thank you. Thank you to everybody who helped me get to this point. First and foremost, Shelley, my friend, partner, and muse for so many years. I would not be here without you, so thank you. To my family, particularly my parents, who were, we don't know what this science fiction thing is, but if you want to be a writer, we'll support you. To Writers of the Future, Galaxy Press, Author Services, the judges, the instructors, Tim and Dave, to everyone involved. They work so incredibly hard to make this happen, and their hearts and their souls are in it, and it's truly appreciated. Thank you very much. To Clarion West, to Cascade Writers, Horrific Mitch Q Seattle, Kitsap Writers Group, to my editor Beth Meacham and my agent Cameron McClure. That's so Hollywood. Thank you to my agent. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who has believed in me, supported me, and helped me just to reach this point, and I hope I don't let you down now. And I just really inspired by what Orson Scott Card said, by what Leland said, and I just wanted to echo a little bit of, and just share, I think, one of the most invaluable lessons that I have learned as a writer. And that is that stories truly do have power. They have the power to shape our lives. They have the power to shape our future. You know, I'm sure we can all remember the stories we read growing up, or that were read to us, that shaped our perspectives of good and evil, of right and wrong, masculine and feminine, of so many things that have shaped us through stories. And as Leland noted, you know, science fiction stories have inspired the technologies that shape our lives today. Stories have power. And I think one of the greatest powers that stories have, well, look at your fellow audience members, and you're not looking. And in your mind, just in your mind, pick out the person you think looks least like yourself, be it age, gender, race, a haircut that you would never choose, whatever the case may be. And just imagine that as we leave the theater this evening, as you walk through that door, zap, your consciousness is transferred into their body and their mind. And tonight you go home to their home. Tomorrow you go to their job. You face the challenges they face, perhaps the prejudices they face. You experience what they experience. You feel what they feel. What an amazing experience that would be. And that sounds like the stuff of magic. That sounds like science fiction. But that is the power that stories have right now. That ability to allow you to actually experience someone else's life. That is such an amazing power. I'm geeking out a little bit about it, but it is an amazing power. And as someone once said, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. And so the thing that I wanted to share, get to the point, was, you know, what I've learned as a writer is how important it is to look at the world around me with open eyes and an open mind and compassion in my heart, and to truly see the wonder and the diversity of the world and the people around me, and to try and reflect that in my stories, not just my own experience, but the experiences of others. First and foremost, because it just benefits me as a writer. It's a selfish reason. It makes my stories richer, more original, and potentially reaches a larger audience, so, you know, can't argue with that. But I think just as importantly, there are so many people out there whose experiences, you know, story after story, you know, are either ignored or missed unintentionally perhaps, or, you know, or they find themselves being badly stereotyped in story after story. And I think being able to put other people's, those experiences into our stories is just a very valuable and important thing because of that power that stories have. And then finally, I would say just support diversity as readers, support diversity of voices in what you read. We have so many, Nnedi Okorafor, Nalo Hopkinson, Nizi Shaw, N.K. Jemisin, so many amazing and diverse voices coming up in our genre, and so many more waiting in the wings, just waiting for you to seek them out. And I say seek them out because, again, it's to our benefit. It makes our genre richer. It creates a genre with so many more unique voices. And we gain in knowledge and wisdom and an understanding of our fellow human beings. And again, that can't be a bad thing. And that is the power that stories have. That is the power that we have as writers, that we have as readers, and the opportunity that I think we all have together to write a future together that has less inequality and is just more full of wonder equally for everyone. Thank you.
Vanessa Golitz, illustrator for Memories Bleed Beneath the Mask, was born in Germany. As a child, she sometimes watched her mother draw and paint with pastels and watercolor as a hobby and continued to draw and paint into her teens. Today, her goal is to reach a skill level like that of her favorite artists. Vanessa could not be with us this week. We congratulate her on her win and wish her the best for her artistic endeavors in the future.
In Beneath the Surface of Two Kills, there are many kinds of trophy hunters, but only one kind of kill. Please welcome Writers of the Future Judge Larry Niven and Illustrators of the Future Judge Ron Lindon.
What an honor. I would like to thank Orson Scott Card for a dynamite potential cover puff. Shauna O'Mara, writer of Beneath the Surface of Two Kills, hails from Western Australia. Shauna earned a university degree in veterinary medicine and following a stint in commercial practice, found career fulfillment treating shelter animals. When she is not vetting, Shauna spends her time writing and creating art. Shauna's Writers of the Future win is her first professional sale and second short story publication. Please congratulate author Shauna O'Mara.
Well, thank you very, very much. I'm very, very glad that I convinced my makeup artist to not go with mascara because watching all my new good friends who have been so good this week and who have shown such talent in getting here, and they're just lovely people, watching them come up and get their awards has just been really, really moving. They're all really great. I'd love to start by thanking my parents who worked 18-hour days to help this really small town girl to go as far as getting a university degree in a profession like veterinary science, which has not only given me a really good first career, but has also given me the ground, a really good baseline for critical thinking, the formation of ideas, and also the vocabulary to be able to share those ideas with others in story. I would love to thank the Canberra Speculative Fiction Guild, which is the writing guild that I belong to in Australia. It's given me a really great insight into inroad into speculative fiction and made me a lot of great friends and contacts, and they have been really instrumental in helping me to perfect my manuscripts. I want to thank my best friend Jodine, who was the one who's always encouraged me to submit and to show my work to others. And also I would like to thank Ian McHugh, who is one of our past Writers of the Future winners, who told me about this competition and said, go on, you are ready to enter this. So I really appreciate that. I'd like to thank L. Ron Hubbard for starting this contest, and also the spirit of generosity with which it was started. I mean, in order to make it as a writer and an artist in this current age, what we really do need is validation, we need mentors, we need connections, and we need a start. And the fact that this competition is what it is, that's given me all 4 of those things. So thank you very, very much. I'd like to thank Author Services and Galaxy Press, the people that we've been dealing with this week who have organised this whole thing. They have been wonderful. They have been so organised, so happy to go above and beyond every time with any request. Nothing was ever too hard, and that means a lot when you come, 16-hour flight from somewhere else when you haven't ever travelled through LAX. Okay. I would like to thank the judges who gave me the validation and clearly liked my story. I got some really nice feedback from some people, so I really appreciate that. I would also like to thank all the workshop instructors who helped us this week and who guided us. Their knowledge and insight was just marvellous, and Tim Powers and Dave Wolverton, you guys are just fantastic. I really, really appreciated that. I also love to thank the past winners and the past honorary writers who might not have won Writers of the Future, but who were brought in because of their expertise, for giving up their time and for being so generous and so forthcoming with so much information and advice. And that includes being in the bar at like midnight and still here asking, us asking questions about agents and publishing houses, which must be very old hat to them by now. And yet every time that they were perfectly happy to do so. The other thing I found too was that you all made me feel so relaxed and so welcome. You were quite happy for us to sit down next to you and just have a yarn about anything and everything. And I think among quite a few of you I found some lifelong friends, so I'm really appreciative. I would also like to say that I'm really, really honoured to be part of such a group, such a prestigious, passionate group of people who I now would consider my alumni, because this to me is almost like a little degree, like a little coming of age. And in finishing, I really just want to say that I endeavour to work really, really hard and to be worthy of the honour and praise that was given to me this week. And I really hope at some point that I can pay it forward and help someone else coming down the line have the same experience as I have. It has been a fantastic week and a wonderful experience, and thank you all.
This is so cool. To be here with all the beautiful people, all the creative people. We're all in this together, and these folks that we're honoring tonight are going to lead us into the future. Is that fun? I can't wait to see how it comes out. Cassandra Bolen, illustrator for Beneath the Surface of Two Kills, recently moved back to the United States after living for 7 years in the international city of Dubai. She grew up as an army brat, traveling across the Middle East and the US, doodling and reading fantasy novels. Rabidly excited about painting strong female characters, she's getting ready to launch a new personal art series that shakes up gender archetypes in mythology. Cassandra is also the artist for our published finalist story, Push Bike Legion. Please congratulate artist Cassandra Bolen.
This isn't as bad as I thought it would be. It's actually kind of really cool. I was sitting in the audience waiting for my name to be called, and I was getting really nervous, so I texted my husband, and I was like, what do I do? And he said to imagine that I was getting a hug from my son, and it just made me feel so much better. So I'll start off my thanks by thanking my son Justice for that hug. For my family, thank you for always believing in me, and for staying up late. Hi. To my mother-in-law, thank you for taking care of me like you were one of your own. To my husband, you are the best wingman an artist could have, and you've kept me from getting in my own way a lot, so I really appreciate that. And thank you, of course, to L. Ron Hubbard, the author services, Galaxy Press, the judges, the amazing instructors, the amazing contestants. And this event in the past week is going to be one of my most treasured memories. And the confidence and encouragement that I've received is incredible. So thank you so much.
In Push Bike Legion, a bike trail leads to a vast desert, alive in its own way. And beyond that, the world is unknowable. Please welcome Writers of the Future judge, Dave Wolverton.
Timothy Jordan, author of Push Bike Legion, grew up in Essex, England, a healthy bike ride from London. Tim's career as a software engineer sent him chasing across the ocean to Florida. He is an avid futurologist who often collaborates with faculty at a nearby university on AI and human cognition projects. This is his first publication, although he's just finished writing the second novel in his sci-fi series. Please congratulate author Timothy Jordan.
Wow, that was absolutely stunning. Thank you so much. That was just unexpected, wonderful. And this is beautiful. I can hear my mum's voice saying, "Don't run with that, you'll poke your eye out." Thanks, Mum. Well, I'll love to thank everyone. I'll thank Author Services, Galaxy Press, Ron Hubbard, L. Ron Hubbard, Joni and all the workers and judges that have made this fantastic event possible, Tim Powers, Dave Wolverton, fabulous workshop. Just my head is so stuffed full of fantastic things. I think it's going to go supernova at any moment. I'd love to thank my fellow writers, a more wonderful group of humanoids I've rarely come across. I wish them all a luck in the future, and hope you go on to do fantastic things. And Cassandra, my artist, who beautifully captured my little bubble world. That was so inspiring, I almost thought of giving up writing and becoming an artist, but then that came along. So thank my family, mum, dad, all my brothers, and special thanks to Joanna, my fiancée. She's out there in this sea of fabulous humanity. My love, my muse, my rock, I love you. In 3 weeks' time, we're going to be married, and I'm very much looking forward to that. Thank you all so much.
In What Moves the Sun and Other Stars, life on the doleful comet is hell. But then, that's what it's supposed to be. Please welcome Writers of the Future Judge Tim Powers and Illustrators of the Future Judge Stephen Hickman.
Casey Norton, author of What Moves the Sun and Other Stars, has loved books ever since she first read Frog and Toad Are Friends to herself. She still reads picture books, but now they're for research, since she's getting her MFA in writing for children and young adults at the Vermont College of Fine Arts. Her fiction has recently appeared in Cross Genres magazine, Orson Scott Card's Intergalactic Medicine Show, Daily Science Fiction, and several other excellent venues besides this anthology. Please congratulate author Casey Norton.
Okay. I guess you've sort of noticed a theme with everyone who they're thanking, and there's sort of two categories of people, and it's the people that kind of got us to this point, and then it's the people that actually got us up on stage here and being clumsy. My parents are out here in the audience, and apparently I almost missed a phone call 2 days ago saying, we can't possibly come. And they did come, and now they're never going to travel again, so I really appreciate the fact that they actually showed up here tonight. There are also a bunch of really spectacular people that have helped out at the Vermont College of Fine Arts. I've actually had 3 classes there, and every single class that I've been with has been really spectacular, and I've had some really great advisors. And then there's the second category of people, which is Author Services, Bang, Galaxy Press, and other people that have been giving us, there are people that have been doing makeup, there are people that took us to the Challenger Center and watched us fly paper airplanes around and throw marbles into a void. And then there are all the judges and the returning winners, and it's fantastic to hear all their advice, even if we can't quite fit it in our brains at just this moment. But one of the thing that I really have to thank Mr. Hubbard for is the fact that I've met some really spectacular people that I'm in this book with. And my parents are sitting next to me, and anytime anyone's been getting up to say anything or to give their speeches, I've been like, that guy's awesome, or she's really cool. And it's been everybody. So it's really great to be here with them, and I wouldn't have had that opportunity if someone hadn't put this whole thing together. So one more reason to be grateful for that. Thank you.
Christy Kim, illustrator for What Moves the Sun and Other Stars, is constantly researching the balance between art and design as a student at North Carolina State University. She was born in Seoul, South Korea, and has won several Congressional Art Show awards. She plans to work in the entertainment industry and as a visual designer. Please congratulate artist Christy Kim.
So once upon a time, there was a girl who used to just paint and draw all the time, wondering where is this going to lead me? And then I get a call from here saying, you're going to be in Hollywood. And I said, no, you have the wrong person. And I come here, and everybody is so welcoming and very down to earth. And I enjoy learning about your experiences and hearing about your personal stories, how you guys became superstars. So thank you.
Before we continue to the Grand Prize Gold Awards for the official release of Writers of the Future Volume 30 Anthology, please welcome the President of Galaxy Press, Mr. John Goodwin.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is indeed an evening of celebration. For all you've seen, there is one thing that brings these art forms into perpetuity: the printed word and the printed illustration in the form of the annual anthology. And as the contests grow, we have also, from a publishing standpoint, taken the next step to mark 3 decades of giving aspiring writers and artists the platform they need. It is now my honor and privilege to officially release the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future, Volume 30.
Celebrate new writers, new winners, new worlds. L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future, Volume 30. This is your window into incredible worlds of wizardry, warfare, and wonder. This is your escape into fantastic realms of the human mind, lurking just beyond your imagination, reaching deep into your wildest dreams. This is your ticket to tomorrow. Celebrate the future of science fiction and fantasy. Get your copies today.
You know that the anthology contains all the prize-winning stories and accompanying illustrations, but it contains much more than that. In accordance with the aim of the contest to inspire and educate new talent, this volume of Writers of the Future also boasts insights from some of our judges. It's safe to say that many of our winners have studied past volumes of the anthologies, pondered the essays, and studied the tales written by other winners. So the anthologies themselves have become a training tool. Authors and illustrators from around the world have deliberated over past volumes on their own, while universities such as George Washington, Rutgers, and Harvard have used the volumes as texts for creative writing classes. In addition to the prize-winning stories and illustrations you've heard about, this year's anthology contains the articles, And Now 30 by founding Writers of the Future judge Robert Silverberg. Synaptic Soup by Illustrators of the Future judge Val Leakey-Lindon. A Word on the Art Direction by Illustrators of the Future judge and the volume's art director, Stephen Hickman. and a thoughtful article by L. Ron Hubbard, Artistic Presentation. This year we have a host of additional features. First, we have bonus stories from two of our Hugo and Nebula Award-winning judges, Orson Scott Card and Mike Resnick, with a classic tale by L. Ron Hubbard. This lavish anniversary issue is available in a larger paperback size in order to better display the gorgeous artwork, and has special full-color prints of the story's illustration in the back of the book, a first. Copies will be on sale for everyone attending tonight. And following tradition, our authors and illustrators will be on hand to autograph their work in the book. Now, to the highlight of the evening, the presentation of the Gold Awards presented by the contest director, Ms. Joni Labaki. Thank you very much.
Winning one of the quarterly prizes in the Writers and Illustrators of the Future contest is the dream of a lifetime for many aspiring authors and artists. But each year, our judges review the prize-winning entries and confer the highest honor, the Golden Brush Award for the Grand Prize Illustrator and the Golden Pen Award for the Grand Prize-winning writer. These awards come with more than just another shiny trophy. Each grand prize will receive an additional check for $5,000. Now, to present the L. Ron Hubbard Illustrators of the Future Grand Prize Golden Brush Award, please welcome Mr. Leland Melvin and Illustrators of the Future Judge and Volume 30 Art Director, Stephen Hickman.
Each artist winner tonight has displayed extraordinary talent and commitment to their work. It requires something special to win a finalist spot. The Golden Brush Award further is given to honor one winner from this amazing group of winners with an extra acknowledgement of their talent and vote of confidence in their future.
The Illustrators of the Future Golden Brush Award, with its fabulous trophy and grand prize check for $5,000, goes to the illustrator of, let's take a look at this. It would be taped up very carefully. Giant at the End of the World, Trevor Smith.
Complete with the check. This is seriously heavy, though. That's not kidding around. Oh my gosh, big smile, bigger than before. Thank you so much. I did have a few words that I thought I'd want to say in case this moment happened, and it's something I say all the time. I have had a lot of questions, and one of them is, what have you learned here? What's maybe the one thing that you're going to bring away? And it's something that I keep learning over and over. It's that this contest is just, I can't stress how important it is. We need a start. And I've entered a lot of contests with, it seems, the same people win over and over. And they've been in the business a long time. It's really difficult. And this contest being for beginners, I can't say how important it is, and I'm so grateful that there are people who know that. and they were there once, and they continue the legacy. And I feel so honored and humble. And one last thing, it occurred to me that I have sort of a duty now, and I take that seriously, and I hope to be giving back the way that the judges have taught us, the way that L. Ron Hubbard set up this contest originally. And I feel a duty to make the most out of this. Not only that, but I leave here with the confidence knowing that I will do that, and I look forward to it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, really.
To present the Writers of the Future Golden Pen Award, please welcome Hugo, Nebula, and World Fantasy Award-winning novelist Orson Scott Card, and Writers of the Future coordinating judge Dave Wolverton.
Among our past writing winners, whether they be finalists or Gold Award winners, many have gone on to great success, and some have gone on to become bestsellers, and some have won the highest honors in the field. Tonight's winning writers will continue that great tradition. The Golden Pen Award will give an added boost to one of our winners, and we're thrilled to present that honor now.
The Writers of the Future winner of the Golden Pen Award and grand prize check for $5,000 goes to the writer of the story Opens Envelope. Oh, no, wait. I need an envelope. Do you have an envelope? Apparently Amazon has got their drone thing going here. The winner is Memories Bleed Beneath the Mask by Randy Henderson.
I prepared some thoughts so I wouldn't pull a Neil Gaiman. Although no one can do Neil Gaiman. So really, all I can say is I would not want to have judged this year. Every single story in that anthology deserved first place, and every single story in that anthology deserved this award. And among the four, well, maybe except for Orson Scott Card, I think he's doing pretty well on already. He probably doesn't need the extra boost, but I think Lena, who taught herself English reading Robert Jordan and J.R.R. Tolkien, and is writing in a second language and does so beautifully. And Megan, this was her second story she'd ever written that got her first place here, and that just speaks to her scary talent. And Terry, just a person of this quiet grace, whose stories just punch you in the gut. Would not want to meet her in a literary alley. So, I feel completely honored, and I truly appreciate this. And thank you to Author Services and Galaxy Press, and I hope to pay it forward. And thank you. Just thank you so much, truly.
This concludes the 2014 L. Ron Hubbard Achievement Awards. We look forward to a new year and a new decade of creative talent, finding this platform to be seen and heard. To all this year's winners and to all the past winners who are with us tonight, we are proud of you. For it is you, the artist and individual, who, with your hopes, dreams, and visions of a better tomorrow, keep the mighty wheels turning in our culture. It is through your art, aesthetics, and quality of communication that we stay on the right course as a civilization. I want to end where we began by quoting L. Ron Hubbard when he, back in 1940, said, "It has been my experience that almost everyone at one period or another of his life has harbored a desire to write. And I wouldn't be wrong to say that there is a creative spark within every single one of us. And if we have touched and awakened that inner spark, and if we have in any way inspired any budding artists and writers to create and to enter, we will have accomplished our purpose. Your success is ours." Please join us now for the eBell Club reception to honor tonight's winners, past winners, and our renowned judges. Join us for desserts, displays, and portfolios from our past Illustrator winners who joined us tonight. And do not miss out on your chance to ask some of tomorrow's star writers and artists for their very first autographs as published professionals. From the executives and staff of Author Services and Galaxy Press, congratulations to all the winners, and thank you all for being with us tonight. See you at the club, and enjoy the rest of the celebration.